That's my social media manager right there.
Yes.
He gonna keep us in order.
Keep me in order. Check me, Charlotte Podcast Studio. See how that roll out the tongue. Charlotte Podcast Studio.
All right.
This is Kenitra from PoseItUp Charlotte. Yes, your dope memory creators, and we are reporting live from Charlotte Podcast Studio. Gang, gang.
Hey, what's going on, good people? My name is Shamar with Alan Lux Studios, and we are currently in Charlotte Podcast Studio, and this is a new addition that we'll be adding to the channel. It is called the Spotlight, where we are going to be spotlighting local business owners that I think are pretty dope. And the first episode is with one of the dopest, and she is a dope memory creator with PoseItUp Charlotte. Her name is Kenitra Huey Hopkins. There we go. There we go. What's up, Kenitra? Thank you for coming.
Hey, Shamar. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
I am doing pretty well, and I'm excited to have you up in here with us.
So excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let me give y'all a little bit of background. I've known Kenitra, 20 years. Ooh. Yeah. Long time.
Since we were born.
Right. So, one, like I said, I wanted to highlight business owners, but it's great when I see people that I've known and people that I've had friendships with get into this space, because, this entrepreneur world is not for the faint of heart, and when you get in there and you're winning and you're killing the game, it's always something for me. So wanted to have a conversation with you first and just see, how did you get into the space, this whole entrepreneur world?
Ooh, Lordy. So, it really did fall in my lap. Never thought that entrepreneurship was, something that I would be into. I worked in corporate America for so long. So my 40th birthday, I had a photo booth at that party. And, my daughter was like, at the time, I think she was 9. And she was like, oh, this is so cool. We should get one to do kids' parties. Brushed it off because, girl, what are you talking about? Right. And so, but she said that, and I was, it wasn't a complete brush off. I was like, yeah, that would be pretty cool. You know what I mean? And so, fast forward, it was my wife's birthday, and I found myself again looking for another photo booth, because we had such a great time with the photo booth that we had. And it was just a standalone photo booth. It wasn't anything fancy, but it was a, pretty cool concept. And so, instead of me at that moment, like, booking a photo booth company, I kind of went back to what my daughter had said about how cool it would be to have a photo booth and host kids' parties. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to invest into actually getting a photo booth. And so went online, did some research. I did research. Right. I kind of put together this makeshift business plan for getting a photo booth. And then I got the photo booth, and I was like, oh, Lord, now what? Right. What have I got myself into? And it really was a what have I got myself into, because then COVID hit, right?
Yep.
So then everything just kind of paused. But, we launched a photo booth company, PoseItUp Charlotte, PoseItUp, and then, we morphed into PoseItUp Charlotte. And it was just really supposed to be just something to do, something to have fun, kind of just like a hobby or hustle on the side. You know what I mean? It wasn't ever supposed to be what it is today.
Right.
And so, once COVID kind of died down a little bit, we launched, and the rest is history. Like, we were getting bookings, and then we added the 360 booth, because that was trendy at the time. Mm-hmm. And then we just fell in love with the concept of having a photo booth, and also just the experiences and the opportunity that, it provided.
Right.
So outside of the financial aspect of it, it really was, giving people this awesome experience.
Okay.
And then for us, and for me particularly, it was like, oh my gosh, this is my business. This is a business that I've been created. And then it was how do I make this better? How do I excel?
Right.
How do I continue to just build upon it?
Right.
And so within the first year, we were only like 3 months. We went from October to December, and I looked back and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even expect to do 2 events.
Okay.
And I think we did 10.
Nice.
Then that following year, in 2022, we did 70 events. And then we ended the year in 2023 with 100 events. So,
Okay. Scaling.
Yeah, so just scaling,
Like
just
that.
growing, just exceeding. And now, like, this is my baby. Like,
Okay.
Pose It Up Charlotte.
Now, Pose It Up. First, it's catchy. I'm like, God, that's a dope name. But how did you think of, or how did y'all come up with the name Pose It Up?
Oh, that's a great question. So, of course, you go through the list of business names. And again, I'm new to the business industry, so I was just looking for something that was catchy. You know the show Pose, okay? And the concept with Pose and the LGBT community, specifically trans community. And I love that show, and I was like, Pose, you know what I mean? So that was kind of, I knew I wanted that name for that reason. And then I was like, okay, so Pose what? You know what I mean? How can we, give it something more catchy? And then it was Pose It Up.
That's dope.
So.
And shout out to Pose. Yeah, that's what's up. I like that. So, all right. It's crazy because I think about it. Like I said in the beginning, being an entrepreneur is very difficult. But then you're talking about you invested, because this stuff ain't cheap to get into. You invested, and right there at that moment was COVID. That was a different ball game for even experienced entrepreneurs. How did you even navigate through that? Like, okay, I got this thing, now COVID hit. How did you keep yourself focused on, okay, we still got to do this and figure out the way?
Man, a whole bunch of prayer, because I had put my money into something that I could not use.
Right.
You know what I mean? And at the time, they were like, well, try to sell virtual booths. You know what I mean? Virtually. But I mean, the world was shut down. Right. So nobody was doing anything. So virtual booths or any really nothing. So it was really just faith. Like, we eventually gonna have to come out of this. Like, we can't be in COVID forever. Right. So like you said, it was not, and I think that's a common misconception, is that photo booths in the photo booth industry is cheap. I do get a lot of people that's like, oh, how much do one of these cost? I mean, it's one thing to just buy the platform. It's another thing to buy the software, the equipment, the camera systems, the insurance, to truly have a business.
Be a business,
is
absolutely.
Totally different from, and I always tell people, I was like, I'm a photo boother. You are a photographer. So there's a difference between someone that takes pictures and a photographer, someone that cooks food and a caterer.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Someone that has a photo booth but is a photo boother. So those are skill sets. So, not only did I invest in the equipment, the time, the insurance, but it was the learning. You know what I mean? Going to classes, going to, Photo Booth Expo, learning everything that I could about the photo booth business, because it is a whole world out there.
Right.
So.
Right. And I say the same thing, because you threw it on the photographers, and I agree with that, is that there's a picture man or somebody to take pictures, there's a photographer, and then even from that, there's a photography business.
Yes.
Yes. Because you can take pictures, you can take beautiful portraits, but once you elevate it and take it to the point of running the actual business. Like you said, being bonded, being insured, doing all of those things to ensure that you're properly running and being recognized as a business. I like that. Now,
absolutely.
So that separates some of those things, right, from a photo boother and somebody who has a photo booth. But let's talk about your competition a little bit, right? So what separates you all, Pose It Up Charlotte, from other photo booth rental companies?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. You'll see it on our social media all the time. Outside of being your dope memory creators, we pride ourselves on the PoseItUp CLT or PoseItUp experience, right? So anybody can have a photo booth. They can probably provide some of the same services that we may provide, but they're not going to give you the PoseItUp experience, which is very unique into what it is that I do, what it is that me and my wife does, and also our attendants. From the moment that you call, my first thing to you is always going to be, what type of experience are you looking for? Okay. So someone can take that and add that to their business, that's fine. But then what comes after that, right? And from the time that I show up on site, it's go time. Then when I'm engaging with your guests, I'm able to get the most shy person up into your photo booth. I've had guests, my host always reach out and was like, I can't believe you got Aunt so-and-so to take a picture or Uncle Joe to take a picture. He don't never take pictures. So it truly is engaging, immersive, pulling things out of people. When you see us engage with people, how we're hyping people up, it truly is an experience. We were with the Deltas this past weekend, and over and over and over again, what we continue to hear and what we always hear is, I can tell that you guys really love what you do, that this is not a hustle for you. Right. This is not something to make quick money. You guys love what you do. Whether it be the patients that you are doing, you're embodying the experience for everybody. Right. So everybody is feeling a part, you know what I mean? So we're like, okay, we got a first time on the booth, let's go, you know, and we're just constantly hyping people up. So, I think it truly is an experience for us.
Oh, absolutely. And I agree with that. So I can speak to that firsthand because you really focused on the experience of the day of. But I think it really starts, like you said, from the moment that they contact you. But I'm going to tell them, because I've booked her myself multiple times, and I want to talk about, like, after we have our consultation, right? And then you send over the package. One, I guess that's the quote, the proposal, if you will, sending that over, having that, reading through it, is you've already outlined everything we talked about, and then the pricing is in there. Everything is up front. I can make any selections, any modifications. So you're walking me through this whole thing even before the day of the event.
Absolutely.
And I think that is key, especially for the host or the client that is booking it, to be able to get that experience up front and all the way through. And even on the back end, that's when you're sending out, notification, hey, it's a pleasure working with you, all the stuff. You just make it feel good and like they're the only one that matters. Absolutely. That's why I like it. And that's why we keep having her back, And now I'm going to tell you, there was one experience. Well, first, we can get into also the difference in a photo boother and a photographer, an event photographer as well, because I think those are two different roles. You explained it perfectly on the social media one time, but I will say, want to talk about an experience, an event. I think it was a graduation party, and the girl who had a photo booth, she was more focused on her getting her content, if you will, than the booth itself. That was a 360, and there's a movement. She didn't have the crowd management like you do and everything, and she was on her phone doing selfies, and the photo booth, the arm hit one of the kids. I was so mad. Told that girl, I said, you need to focus on what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? I went to social media, people. I went to social media about this, like, this girl is crazy. I
remember that.
Yes, I was so upset, but I say that to show the difference. Piggybacking on what we said earlier, there's a photo booth or somebody who takes it serious, that this is their business, versus a hustle. And that seemed to be like a hustle, but working with you, it is a true thing, because you have to be, what am I thinking? You have to be conscious of safety hazards, risk, things like that. Absolutely. And like I said, this was a baby. Even if it was a grown up, I wouldn't have liked that arm hitting them. But we have to be knowledgeable or aware of these little children, because they're not paying nothing attention, and then that thing hit her. So again, I appreciate the difference. We can see the difference in everything. So the experience is pretty dope. One other thing I wanted to hit on was talking about the experience that you provide. If somebody is looking for a photo booth to rent for, one of their events, what is it that they need to be looking out for? What do they need to be asking the company that they're wanting to book?
Absolutely. You need to be booking PoseItUp CLT first and foremost.
But
I always tell people, because I truly, being here a little over 2 years now, I truly understand that everybody is not my client, right? And I always tell people, even if I am not the right fit from a budgetary perspective, or they're looking for something else, I always tell them that's fine, but here's what you need to look for. First of all, don't look for people that are like, send me a deposit via a Cash App. If they don't have a website, and they don't have social media, I'm sorry. How do you know that this is a legit person?
Yep.
Right? Do they have their name on the captures? You know, plenty of people send me pictures like, oh, he said he can do this. And it's like, ma'am, that is not his work. You know, anybody can kind of, you know, smooth you into thinking something. I've even had someone in another state that was posing my work as theirs. You know what I mean? So I think it's one thing to just ensure, like, do they have a portfolio? Right. Can they prove who they are? Also, can they prove that the quality that they're going to give you is actually their quality? I think, are they insured? Because especially if you're having a wedding, you're going to be at a venue. A lot of these venues are going to be asking, you know, for the general liability insurance. You know what I mean? For all of your vendors.
A minimum of 1 million as well.
Minimum of 1 million.
Yes.
Okay, so that's a legit business is going to be able to off the cuff provide that to you, right? Also, that's a safety for you and your guest.
Right.
You want to make sure that your vendor, your photo booth vendor, has insurance. Are they responsive?
Right.
You know, are they getting back to you? Their reviews. You know what I mean? So sometimes we can take reviews with a grain of salt, but other times, you know, look at the reviews, look at their quality. You know, some people will go and get, just like I said, stock images that aren't theirs and pose it as their sales. And then when they get to your venue, you know, they got booth and cords all over the place. And you're like, well, wait a minute.
Exactly.
What happened to the picture that I saw where there wasn't no cords and people were having a good time and you had this beautiful setup, you know, and now you just got this booth in the floor with cords everywhere, and it's not your work. So again, do they consistently, are they consistently on social media updating their social media platforms and things of that nature? So that's just a couple of things that you definitely want to be involved, ensure that they have. And I mean, it's a vibe. I mean, it's always a connection, right? If you, and this is for any service, if you pick up the phone and you're not getting what you need, or the way they've answered the phone is real sketchy, they didn't answer it really with the business in mind. You probably want to go ahead and say red flags and just go to the next person.
So yeah, I think those was helpful and some good tips for the people. Now let's talk about people that say, "Oh, I mean, I got to get a photographer and get a photo boother." Let's talk about the differences in those two. Can you kind of walk through that?
Yes. So I have a lot of people that always say, you know, well, I have you. You know, if I book you, do I need a photographer, or vice versa? I have a photographer. Do I really need a photo booth?
Right.
We are two different experiences.
Absolutely.
Okay. All day and night. A photographer is very specific to the host. They are there for the host. They are going to be catching shots for the host, whether it's you know, especially for weddings, you know what I mean? So it's the bride, the groom, the wedding party, the wedding shot. So those important things. So photographers are very, you know, focused type of an experience, where with the photo booth, we're there to engage the guests.
That's right.
So with weddings, that's a lot of times why you do see both, because, you know, when that wedding is over, that wedding party is going with the photographer, and they're going to be gone for an hour.
That's right. At least.
At least an hour, because they're going to get their photos.
That's right.
So while that cocktail hour is going on, I'm there to engage the guests into photos. Right. With the photo booth. So also at the end, the photographer, you're not going to be able to grab that photographer away from what he's doing if he's taking pictures of that bride and groom and pull him away and say, get me an auntie so-and-so.
Yes.
You're not going to be able to do that. And don't do that.
Please don't.
Don't
Please
do that. Versus with the photo booth, you know, we're there, we're going to get you your captures right then and there. A lot of times with weddings, you are never going to see those photographer captures,
Right.
Unless, you know, the host or the wedding couple actually post those.
Exactly.
And so those are kind of the biggest differences is the guest engagement versus photographers with the engagement from the host. And that goes for corporate events, birthday
Absolutely.
parties, just overall spectrum, the difference between the photographer and then what it is we do as photo boothers.
Absolutely. I think that sums it up greatly. The photographer is there to capture for the host or the client, and then the photo boother is there for the guest experience.
Yes.
And that's instant gratification because you're able to get your capture right then and there. You know, and what I will say, Kenitra and I just did a 50th birthday party maybe 2 weeks ago now, or a week or so ago. And it was great for me, even though I knew all of these things that you just said, but to experience it firsthand, because what I typically do, I get the decor, right? I get the building itself, the venue, get the decor, get the guest of honor, and them with people interacting and things like that. But always at the end of the night, they want me to stand there and do a step and repeat, take pictures of them with everybody. And when the people see that they're taking pictures, everybody runs up and they get in line.
Yeah.
But for them to immediately go to the photo booth, that relieved a lot off of my plate where I could focus on doing what I needed to do. I was like, oh yeah, this is it. Exactly. And I'm like, so is there anything else y'all need? They're like, oh no, we good. And they stayed at the photo booth. I was like, yes, this has to be a package deal every time, people. And also, let's be clear. I did a YouTube video talking about how to book a event planner. No, I didn't. Event photographer.
Okay, yes.
I gave them tips on that, and the main thing that I told them was to book early because our calendar gets booked up, and it's the same thing for you guys. Yeah. Y'all better book early. And listen, if you don't, because somebody tried to book both of us for New Year's Eve, probably a week before New Year's Eve, there's a premium that comes with that.
Oh,
you know?
yes.
And then they ran off. We ain't hear nothing. The conversation died.
Crickets.
But definitely book early because, you know, we have gigs on the books through the end of the year already, and that happened last year.
Yes.
So book early, people.
Book early, definitely. And especially, you know, I think people don't understand, like when they're booking an event, they're just one tracked, right? So they're like, my event is going to be on May 25th. Okay, but you don't know that you're competing with graduation for your wedding. You don't know that you're competing with holiday. You don't know, especially, you know, when you start to get into that holiday realm, you don't know that you're competing with corporate.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because you're just thinking about your day. You're not thinking about everything else that surrounds that day, right? Because you're not in the industry, so you don't really understand what else is going on.
Right.
So then when you can't find nobody, you're like, well, what is going on?
You're right.
Well,
right.
now you're looking for somebody. You're booking late, right? And now you're looking for someone, and then everybody is booked because all of these other things are going on. You know, yes, and also you knew that you were turning 50.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah, because that date don't change. Your birthday does not change. It don't move. So call as early as possible.
And you know, I tell people, you know, they're like, well, how early should I book? You know, for weddings and things like that. I have someone right now, you know, who's kind of struggling to find someone on the date because, you know, again, you're competing with February. You know, you would think that it would be slow, but for a lot of people, it's just not slow.
Right.
So as soon as you have, you know, your venue, especially for a wedding, I know a whole bunch of y'all got engaged over the holiday. You know, you're trying to get your little things together. Right. Your photographer, your photo booth, your DJs, like get people on the books now because no one can just wait around. And then you can't just throw a date. Are y'all available on this day? Okay, I'm gonna call you. Right. You better call.
You better do it now.
You better put your retainer down
now because things change. And then that also, so not only securing you early on, but that get us involved in the process too.
Yes.
You know, because I can't tell you how many times of doing an event, if I would have known early the venue and stuff, I could have talked to you like, hey, well, we need X amount of space, especially like for you all. Y'all need a certain amount of space to set up that booth. For me, it's the lighting. Okay, what are y'all gonna do with the house lights? Because boy, I tell you, they'll turn them lights off real quick. Like, I need light, right? You know that's what photography is, right? But if you're gonna turn them off, or if at certain points, we can kind of work through that and talk through that early on. But to get people to work on the fly, sometimes that's stressful on us. Now, granted, you are paying us a nice price to be focused on that because we're experts in it, but to plan ahead is always best.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely. I agree with you 110%.
Good stuff. Now, I got a fun question that I want to know personally, and I think some of these people want to know too, is what's something that most people wouldn't know about you all?
Yeah. So there's a couple different things. I know people see me Monday through Sunday, right? But Pose It Up Charlotte is my second full-time job.
Okay.
So I am still full-time corporate America. I have been in the HR, ER space for, over 20 years. So yes, I started when I was about 13.
Okay.
So after that is, Pose It Up. So I'm literally working 24 hours, 7 days a week as a small business owner and also in the corporate space for now. Okay, I'm manifesting that.
That's
for
right.
now. Pose It Up Charlotte is my baby, and I'm putting some things in the universe, and I promise you, like, things are coming to fruition. So, but I love what I do in the HR space. And I've been blessed with this beautiful entrepreneurship journey. And right now, they will not work together for too much longer. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, good deal, good deal. I like that. Now, listen, I agree with that. So I myself am on a 2 full-time job journey as well. And the way I see it, one is a good thing that, you enjoy what you're doing in corporate, right? I enjoy what I do in corporate as well. I've been doing it so long that, it can't say do it in my sleep, but it's something that's natural, something that I can just do every day, right? And then it helps me balance between the two. And the way I view it is that our corporate jobs are our silent business partners because they help fund this. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So you continue to be this silent business partner until I get this to where it needs to be, and then you can buy me out. So I get that.
Yes.
Now. This experience, I want to focus on that again as well, because you talked about all of the things, or when we talked about costs, you were naming a lot of things. The one thing that has a lot of costs that people aren't aware of that you didn't mention yet was props. And that prop table and, all of that you do. You do a great job of presenting it, number one. And number two is that people don't realize that those props have to be updated as well and stuff because, people can tear them up, and they get worn out and everything, but you're constantly doing it. And then the different, themes for the different parties and stuff, you have to have that too. So I didn't want to lose sight on the cost that comes with that as well. But you've also, I heard you say that you started with the standalone booth.
Yes.
Incorporated the 360 booth.
Yes.
And then you even upgraded now to the big boy, and that quality is untouched. It is untouched. And I'm like, she's trying to come from my job, But so you're continuing to invest in Pose It Up.
It's so important. Yes.
I agree. It's so important. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's very important. And I want you to kind of talk about that. Why do you see the need to continue to up the game,
Yeah, absolutely. And also, can I just say that also is what separates someone from a business owner and then for this being a side gig or side hustle for somebody is, that side gig person, they're going to take that money and go buy them a pair of shoes. No, I'm going to take that money and I'm going to invest it back into the business, right? It's very important that I continue to stay one with the trends, with the software, because things are forever changing in this business, and you don't want to be left behind with the, some people have the photo booths that you go in. Well, since COVID, nobody is going into a photo booth with nobody.
I want open air. 6 feet. 6 feet. Stop playing.
Yes. Lighting, you know what I mean? Like you said, those props, after a while, I have probably a box of maybe 100 props right now that I've retired because it's no longer trending. Right. Some of the sayings, are no
Can
longer
you
a
imagine
thing.
too legit to quit?
If it's not 90s, that do not need to come out, right? So, it is continuing to invest in software. Now as we start to see the trends with AI, so, there's software with background remover that can change you into a character. So, it all has a place, right? It's not going to be something or an experience for everybody, but it's something that I can offer. Those green screen, LED, roaming photography. So it's very important, I guess, for me to just pour back into the business so I can continue to give you these amazing experiences and these amazing captures and these dope memories. You know what I mean? So in also February, I'm going to the Photo Booth Expo.
Okay.
That's the biggest photo booth expo really in the world. And so being able to go there and see glam bots and just see all of these amazing technology things that I can bring back to my business, that I can bring back to my customer, my clients, and keep the trends going, right? I always want to be and want to remain relevant in this space because otherwise you won't be in business long if you don't stay up with the trends. I mean, that's just a fact, right? Yeah.
I get that. And so my final question is, most important, what services do you all offer?
Yes. So we are full service. So I always tell people that we are full service photo booth company. So, we are not just 360. I know a lot of times people thought that we just did 360 because that was just what was trending at the time. So we do 360, we do glam booth, we do digital quality booth, we do prints, which is perfect, especially if you're going with weddings this year. So the trend this year for weddings is going to be prints. Now, a couple of years ago, as people were getting sustainable, they're like, oh, they're not doing anything with the prints. But now prints are being replaced with that shot glass that don't nobody want. That box of chocolate. Don't nobody want that box of chocolate. So now brides, we're pushing brides to say, hey, instead of you spending money on things that people don't want, don't need, give them something for you. You know what I mean? So a picture that they were at the wedding, or, we're doing memory books. I mean, memory books is still a thing. Video confessional. So we have a video confessional booth, and we can add that to, that was really popular with graduations because we were able to do video confessionals, and then people were able to just give the grads just a moment of advice. You know what I mean?
I like that.
To say, hey, grandkid, I love you, and then, how cool is it that, we all have an expiration date, but to have that voice note of your loved one that's giving you this special message, you can go back and listen to that, right? So video confessional is popular. Green screen or background remover. So always, one of those situations where we did this for a conference, we were able to make it seem like that they were at a race car. We did this also for Epic Fest for the kids, made it made the background look like they were in a comic. So green screen still just very, very popular service. Oh, magazine covers. So magazine covers, super, super cool thing that's trending right now. Roaming photography. And when I come back from PVX, baby, it's gone. Let me tell you, man, I am going to, I can't tell you everything. But
little snippet.
I already got my eyes on a couple things that's going to blow you away. We're going to be adding some different booths and different experiences to the catalog for you guys to choose from. And I think what's also so special about what we do, and I haven't posted this out yet, but we did this
exclusive.
This is exclusive. We did a dope concept where we completely branded this entire corporate holiday party from the booths. We did our LED screen branding. We did branded props. So as a lot of you guys may know, we do custom props as well. And then we can customize our booths to make it look like it's your brand.
Love it.
So, that's another cool concept as well. So just stay tuned. We're bringing all of the heat for 2024. I'm so excited. I'm about to say 2023, baby.
You called it.
That's long
we
ago.
here. Right.
But 2024 is on and popping. So, I'm just looking forward to all of the continued growth and experiences and just being in the room with just amazing people and making amazing connections. Because really, for me, that's where I thrive. I just love making these connections with beautiful people.
Right.
So, yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So where can they find you? They need to book this experience. So tell them how to get it.
So you can contact us at www.PoseItUpCLT.com. All social media at PoseItUpCLT. Phone number 980-422-1117. Let us be your dope memory creators.
I love it. I love it, Kenitra. I love your energy. Every time we link up, it is great. So thank you for being the first one here, and thank you for letting everybody know about Pose It Up. And we're going to connect soon.
Yes, absolutely. I can't wait to do it. Thank
you,
Shamar.
Hey, thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Hey.